Hi, today I'm going to be sharing the Ostara Tarot with you. This is a tarot deck made by 4 artists who joined together after meeting at university: Molly, Eden, Krista and Julia. This deck they each put their own artwork into, so some of them work on particular suits, and you will see throughout the deck that each suit does have quite a different feel to it. So the Ostara Tarot arrives in a cardboard magnetic closed box. It does need to be separated to be stored. This is a bugbear of mine. I love it when decks actually fit into one box all together in one pile, but anyway, so it's a beautiful box. It's quite sturdy, and in that box you get the guidebook, which is, I'll tell you now, is 111 pages long in total, and you get information about each of the artists and a page upon each of the cards in colour, and the same with the major arcana as well, apart from it's a double page spread with the major arcana. There are some introductory parts, but there aren't any spreads in this book at all. So if you're wanting to have a guidebook with example spreads, the Ostara Tarot is not for you. However, I will now show you the deck, and you can make your mind up as to whether this may be a deck you'd enjoy or perhaps not. So this is the Ostara Tarot deck. It's a nice chunky deck with beautiful silver gilding. Like some of the Schiffer gilded decks, this sadly was rather stuck together when it arrived. So I had to spend time peeling the cards apart, and I did actually cause slight damage to the edging, which I was annoyed at myself for. But my top tip to you, if you do get a deck like this and it's stuck together, is to shuffle them apart rather than trying to peel them. Don't peel, you end up with damaged edges. So, okay, this deck, as I said earlier, was created by 4 artists, a group of people, and they each took on a role. So the 4 suits within the minor arcana each has a different artist, and you can tell, whilst the coins and the swords are quite easy to understand and read, the cups and the staves are really difficult to tell apart and to decipher. In fact, there's some cards that, if it wasn't for the numbering, I wouldn't really have a clue what it might be. It is definitely a deck for advanced readers. I would say it's definitely pagan, and it's got that kind of feel to it. I do like it. It's not my favourite deck, I'll admit that, but it's quirky, and there's certainly something about it. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough. We've got the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. Now this particular card is featured on the packaging. I do like this card, I think it's beautiful. The Empress. The Emperor, although at first when I saw this card I presumed it was a devil, but here we go, the Emperor. The Hierophant. The Lovers. The Chariot. I love how these chess pieces are in this card, like movement but with the chess pieces. Justice. The Hermit. Very, very busy cards. The Wheel of Fortune. Strength. The Hanged Man. Excuse all the background noise. Death. Temperance. The Devil. I like this card. It's just kooky. I like it. The Tower. Not my favourite tower. The Star. And I love how she looks like she's almost going swimming for the star there. Or for that light. Or a moon, perhaps. It's quite a different star. Speaking of the moon, here's the moon. And the Sun. Not my favourite card for the Sun. Judgment. and the World. And I love this card with the Earth. I think it's really pretty. So moving on to the Minor Arcana, we have the staves here. And you can see my point when I say that these cards are quite vague. Although she's holding a wand there, a wand or a stave, dependent upon what you want to call it, that's quite an easy card to understand. But as you get further through the deck, you will see that these cards are difficult to tell apart. So that's the Ace of Wands. Now, Two of Wands. Can you see my point? This card is not easy. Although you know it's a 2, well, it's difficult to tell which suit. Then you've got the Three of Wands here. Now there is a wand there. That's quite obvious. Four of Wands. Beautiful card, don't get me wrong. I just find some of the imagery quite difficult to decipher and associate. I just don't associate some of the imagery with the actual meanings of the cards. It's definitely a different kind of deck, and one that takes some getting used to. There's your Six of Wands. Now I love this Seven of Wands. I like this kind of snakes and ladders type effect image. It works for me, that card. Whereas the Eight of Wands, not so much. Then we have the Nine of Wands. Again, quite vague. And the Ten of Wands. Then we have Pages. And the Knight. And the Queen. That's a beautiful card. And the King of Wands. So some are animals, some are human figures, it varies. So moving on to the cups, so again, different artist, but the deck does, you know, it works. Just. We've got the Ace of Cups here. And the Two of Cups. Now, yes, there are cups in this image, but again, like when you get to the Three of Cups, for example, although I can see a cup there, it's just, I find it quite vague. I love this card, the Four of Cups. It works for me. And the Five of Cups with a snake there. I think that's really, it's really effective. And the Six of Cups. And the Seven. And the Eight. And the Nine. Ten of Cups. Beautiful card, love it. Could just do with some cups in there. I know there are some down here, but more obvious. I'm not complaining, I'm not complaining. And then the Page. I love that, the idea of making shadows in his tent and all that innocence and imagination. The Knight of Cups and the Queen. And the King. Moving on to the Sword. This is such an obvious suit. It works fine for me, this one. So we've got the Ace of Swords and the Two of Swords. That's a beautiful image. And this one is my favourite Three of Swords card in any deck. Usually the Three of Swords is, you know, quite an upsetting card, emotional. And I just love the kind of the Three Swords in the tree trunk with the heart. It's nice, it's gentle. Four of Swords. And the Five of Swords. You see, all these swords are really obvious in the cards. You know what the card is as soon as you pick it up. And the Six. It's a stereotypical Six of Swords there as well, the image. And then we've got the Seven of Swords. And the Eight. And the Nine. And the 10. Beautiful image. Love this one. And then we move on to the Page of Swords. Again, obvious. He's carrying the sword. And the Knight. And the Queen. Such a pretty card. And the King. And then finally we have the coins or the pentacles. How beautiful is this card? And it'd be really nice if, say, the whole deck was animals, but it's, I don't know, it's hit and miss. There's the 2 of Coins. And the 3 of Coins. And the 4. And the 5 of Coins, or Pentacles. And the 6. And the 7. And the 8. And the 9. And the 10 of Coins. I like this one. Then we've got the Page. And the Knight. And the Queen. And the King. So, this is the Ostara Tarot. It's really nice to shuffle. It shuffles really nicely, but I just find it a little bit difficult to understand. It will come to me with time. It's not my favourite deck, but it's definitely different, and if you're looking for different, then this is it. I think it's because there's 4 different people trying to achieve one thing, and together it kind of works for some of the suits, but for others I don't feel it does. I'd love to hear your comments and your views on this deck. If you've got it, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you've had it, if you've let it go, drop me a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Ostara Tarot. I will be using it and I'll continue to work with it over time. I'm sure it's going to grow on me every day, but it will take time. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Take care.